Do you know that Indonesia has so many folktales? One of which is the story of Si Pahit Lidah. It is originated in Palembang, South Sumatra. This is a very famous story, especially for people in South Ogan Komering Ulu Regency. Once upon a time, in West Percha Island, there lived a man who had divine power. His name was Serunting. He was the son of two giants named Boyang Panjang and Putri Tenggang, who was very beautiful. Serunting's power was outstanding everywhere. Whatever he wanted and said would come true. He was considered as both warrior and villain. Many people feared him. Serunting's deeds were horrible. Whenever people made him mad, he would curse them to be stoned. That was his everyday job. People became more terrified to live in Percha Island. Some of them tried to escape to another place. Eventually, the island became empty because the people had been cursed to be stones. Far before the story began, there was once a famous village called Tangamanik. According to rumors, there was a god named Ritabing who was very strong and invulnerable. He was also wise and not afraid to die. Ritabing lived together with his lovely wife, Siti. Siti was the sister of the sacred Serunting. Despite of being siblings, they hardly saw each other. Serunting lived in Padang Langgar, and his sister lived in Tangamanik. Therefore, Serunting expressed his willing to share a field together so that they could constantly meet. Siti and Ritabing then agreed to his idea. By the will of the Almighty God, the plants they planted in the field grew up very well. However, Serunting anticipated unwanted things to happen by installing a wood divider in the middle of the field so that it would be fair for both of them. The divider facing Ritabing's field was sprouted up by black and ugly fungus due to the changing weather, but the divider facing Serunting's field was sprouted up by golden fungus. Ever since, Ritabing became jealous of Serunting. One night, Ritabing was going to commit an evil plan. He drew the divider and picked the golden fungus and fled. When he opened the pack of golden fungus, he only found the black, ugly ones. Knowing all of this, Ritabing got mad, and then he and Serunting were fighting, punching, and smashing one another. Ritabing wanted to know Serunting's weakness to beat him. He decided to ask his wife. Because of her love towards him, she half-heartedly told him that Serunting could beat Biren using the bird Bumba, the one which not made from iron or stone. Ritabing was really happy to hear that. One day, Ritabing shot Serunting on his leg. He was injured and dropped a single drop of blood. Then he changed it into a ferocious white tiger. It ran to the west, to Padang Langgar, beyond the woods, and when Serunting saw it, his memory was gone. Serunting was deeply sad and wanted to end his life. He couldn't bear the shame of being beaten by Ritabing and betrayed by his own sister. So, he wanted to take a revenge for his defeat. He then remembered the Queen of Majapahit, who was strong, brave, outstanding throughout the country. She had great supernatural power. Serunting decided to go on a journey to Majapahit to learn about the supernatural power for his life. After arriving there, Serunting met the queen and begged her to learn about her power, but she refused. She advised him to go back to Palembang and tell his sister not to do what she had done again. After hearing her advice, Serunting excused himself to go. He was planning on secluding himself and meditating into the woods. He lived alone, isolated from the world where people live. He held his hunger and thirst to the point where his body was very thin. The Queen of Majapahit was saddened to hear about this. She ordered the privates to look for Serunting and bring him to the palace. She took pity of him and eventually gave him the power by spitting into his mouth. Serunting immediately experienced an unbearable pain, and that was how he gained his divine power. After arriving in Palembang, Serunting was tired and stopped by a village called Muara Rambang. The villagers were many. They went back and forth, busy to work for their daily needs. Serunting asked for food to them because he was starving, but nobody cared. Serunting was pissed off seeing how they treated him and said, "People here are all monkeys. They don't want to have the suffering one." And then the villagers turned into long-tailed monkeys all of a sudden. Serunting then ran because he was scared for what he had done. After arriving in a village called Tanggamanik, he met his sister. They were happy to see each other again. Unfortunately, Ritabing had escaped. Serunting asked Siti to give him food because he was starving. She went to do him favor but never came back. He cannot hold the hunger anymore and said, "Where is Siti? She took forever to cleanse the rice. Has she turned into a stone?" Never once did he think about his words becoming real. He went to the well and found his sister was actually turned into a stone. He realized that the power of the Queen of Majapahit had already been given to him since. He felt sorry for his sister, but in the meantime, he also felt happy to know that he had gained the power. Serunting was gone, bringing the power, and it only brought disasters. He started to be arrogant, and he became more famous countrywide. His nickname was Si Pahit Lidah, the nation destroyer. Serunting was going crazy, and often tortured people to death. Many of them was turned into stones. Meanwhile, there lived a man who was strong and had 4 eyes. A couple of the eyes placed on his face and the other ones placed on the back of his head, covered by hair. He later called as Si Mata Empat. He was very kind, never hurt others, and loved to help people. Coincidentally, he heard the news about the evil Serunting, who liked to hurt people mercilessly. Si Mata Empat wanted to fight against him without violence, by competing their power in the mountain of Seminung. Serunting immediately accepted the request. Si Mata Empat challenged Serunting to climb up the inau tree. Meanwhile, he would lie facing the ground. Serunting might stab him using the inau, but Si Mata Empat might avoid it using his own way. If the inau cannot touch him, he was indeed that powerful. Serunting was angry hearing that, and he quickly climbed up the tree, cut its branch, and sharpened its tip. He then aimed the branch directly to Si Mata Empat, but he could avoid. Now it was Si Mata Empat's turn to climb up the tree. He aimed at Serunting and shot him. The branch successfully stabbed him like an arrow, and that was how Serunting died in the hand of Si Mata Empat. Si Mata Empat went down the tree and observed the corpse. He wondered, is his power actually because of his bitter tongue? Si Mata Empat then licked Serunting's tongue. Slowly, the body of Mata Empat turned into a stone, and so did Serunting's body. The 2 warriors had the same fate, and their soul went back to the Almighty God. The 2 stones are sacred, and nowadays many people go to their holy graveyard to ask for grace or meditate, searching for blessings.